I always get salted caramel.
Oh, yeah, you got the salted caramel. I got the cacao banana bliss.
I've never had that one.
It's really good. Yeah. The only thing with this, though, is that it has cacao nibs in it. So if I get stuff in my teeth, just let me know, okay?
I will. How would you like me to tell you?
Just tell me. I can edit it out. So just tell me.
Okay.
And then we also have cookies. And what do you have there?
Banana bread.
Banana bread. Yum. Okay, guys. Welcome back to Rewrite with Allie. I am here with Lisa. She owns Augment Wellness in Tri-Cities. To start off, I'm really curious about what your definition of wellness is.
Oh, gosh. I think wellness is, I see it as a holistic thing. So it's not just your body, but it's your mental health, and on your diet and all of those kind of things, taking care of yourself, in a holistic manner.
So before Augment Wellness, what were you doing?
So I was an educator for, over 20 years. So I started as a teacher. I ended up being administrator in a school. And so, yeah, my last 9 years in education were in administration.
Okay. And then when I think of being an owner of a wellness and recovery center, I think, well, this person has to have a history of or their own wellness journey, I guess. What was yours like?
I think mine would be more characterized as vanity, like as just worried about my weight and all that kind of stuff. And that came from like childhood, like family members saying, "Oh, you got to suck in your stomach," that type of stuff. And I feel like so I always had that thought. And then I realized as I got older, like, no, this is for my exercise and these things are just as good for my mental health. And so, and that was, I had to think about like when I was leaving education, like, what do I equally value? Because I loved the kids and I loved helping them.
Yeah.
But what else do I equally value? Well, I love like self-care. I was just ready for a change for a variety of reasons. And I do kind of feel like you are just placed in a place where you need to be, because I was able to transfer my kind of like my heart for giving to people, and all of those things into my new space, which was not what I did it for initially. I did it because I was like, oh, more time off, more flexibility, like that kind of stuff. But that is not really what it has been at all. It's been more like educating people and like how the modalities there can help them. So I've been able to use that passion for teaching but also for giving back. So it wasn't what I got into it for, but that is what it's
But
become.
it turned into that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Augment is a franchise.
Yes.
Correct? And are you the owner of the whole, like all the I guess locations?
No. So the franchise started out in Arizona, and then they've just spread. So I'm just the owner of the Kennewick location.
Yeah. How did you find out about Augment?
Well, that was the weird part, is because at the time I was like irritated with the gym I was going to. So I was like, I'm going to open a gym and I'm going to open it right next to this gym and I'm going to do better.
Oh my gosh.
And so I started like researching gyms on internet, and I found a gym that I liked that was a concept that we don't have here in the Tri-Cities, which did have gym with recovery together.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that would be so good. That's what we don't have. And so I met with them multiple times over the phone, and then they were like, you have to come and see us. In order to do this, we want to make sure it's a good fit. Well, when I went there to Arizona to see the gym, I was overwhelmed. I'm like, this is more of a bro vibe. This is more like heavy equipment and stuff that I can't see myself being like a single female, like trying to
doing that,
do all that. And I was just kind of like, I don't know. And then they were like, well, but we also have this other franchise. And it was just very boutique-y and all that. And I was like, oh, yeah, I like this. And then my vanity kicked in, which oh, I could do all this stuff all the time. Like, this would be awesome for me and all that kind of stuff. And so, and I knew what we had here. And I was like, oh my gosh, this would be, because I'd already obviously been into that, valuing those things. So I was doing a lot of those things already. So I was like, we don't have anything like this here.
Yeah. So you were trying to fill fill a gap within the Tri-Cities.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. Yeah. And I literally it was spring break. I literally came back, like started figuring out how I was gonna do it, and I was done by the end of the year. I was like, I was like, and opened it in December. So yeah, it went
Wait,
from like
you said spring
spring
break
break. So
and you
like
opened it in December?
yeah, I so in
Holy
April, yeah,
moly.
basically I came back after spring break after April and I just started figuring things out. And yeah, I opened that
That's
December. Yeah.
wild.
I was like, I gotta do it
What were
quick.
some of the setbacks or challenges that you had while opening it? Did you have any, or were you
Oh
doubtful at
gosh.
all?
I don't know. I mean, I know that trying to get the loan was a challenge because I kept hearing, well, you don't have experience in
Mhm.
that industry. And I just kept coming back, "Well, I'm running a school, like, how much harder could it be? I'm running a
Yeah.
school." Um, but I realize now that there was some validity in that because running a business is really hard. It's really challenging. No, I don't have classes on marketing. I
Yeah.
don't have classes on sales, you know what I mean? I don't have a background in that. So, um, the part that comes easily to me is the education and the relationships, which
Mhm.
I always had at the school, and that was the easy part. That part I got.
That was your forte. Yeah.
Yeah, but the other part was the thing that I wasn't, prepared for, and I don't know that I'm still there. 1 year in, I'm like, I still have a lot of growth.
Yeah. Well, I listened, past tense, to this podcast, and the host, his name is Michael Bosstick, and he has it with his wife Lauren Bosstick.
Mhm.
But they always say, and this is actually what made me pull the trigger on starting a podcast. They say, "Start now, adjust later," and it sounds
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's what you did.
Yeah,
You know, you're
that's
not
true.
gonna know. I didn't
Mhm.
know how to edit, a
Uh-huh.
podcast, but
Yeah.
I think you figure it out.
Yeah, you're, like, flying yeah, like you're
Mhm.
building the plane while you're flying
Yeah,
it.
no,
Yeah.
exactly. And
Yeah.
I'm reading a book right now called Courage is the Calling, I think it's called, but it's by Ryan Holiday, and what the chapter that I just read this morning was about how fear keeps you from everything,
Mhm,
And
mhm.
if you let your fear hold you back from starting Augment Wellness, I mean, who knows what you would be doing.
Right, exactly. Well, and the other thing is that I had a lot of people be like, "You're leaving all that security, benefits,
Yeah.
all of that stuff."
Or
And
yeah.
believe me, there are plenty of days where I'm like, "What did I
Mhm,
do?"
mhm, mhm.
Because that was a lot of stability in my life, and
Yeah.
yeah, but
Well, I think a lot of people could relate to that. It's you choose, for example, it's either my father was very much high risk, high reward
mhm,
businessman.
mhm,
My mother, on the other hand, because of her experiences and upbringing, she would preach stability, get the nine
mhm,
to five,
mhm, mhm,
the whatever. And so it's like this battle of, do I go for what my heart is telling me to do, or do I
mhm,
go for the stability?
mhm,
But you
mhm,
had the stableness, and
mhm,
now
mhm,
you're able to pivot from that. But backtracking a little bit, you mentioned the word vanity a few
mhm.
times.
Yeah.
Is that something negative to you or positive?
Um, I think it is something that I consider to be kind of negative in a
Mhm.
way because I've always put a lot of pressure on myself.
Mhm.
High expectations, never necessarily been satisfied, regardless.
Yeah.
That's been really hard for me. Yeah.
Mhm.
It still is something I struggle with. Yeah.
Do you have any kids?
I have 4.
Okay, and so because of your upbringing, you said that you would hear a lot of tucking your tummy, or,
Mm-hmm.
were you extra aware of what that could lead to in your kids,
A
or how that could
hundred, a
affect
hundred
them?
percent, 100%. And I always have said, no, you're beautiful. It doesn't matter. But I realize now, like, they've seen me at the same
Mhm.
time being hard on myself. So it's kind of like, listen to what how like I'm saying this, but this is not what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh no, you're perfect. You're good. You don't need any of that. But yet I'm like still verbalizing some
Right.
negative talk towards
Yeah.
myself. So
Mhm.
I have not done as good as I would have liked to have done.
Yeah, but, I mean, I'm sure they're aware, right, of those,
Oh,
would you
they
say?
they know.
Yeah, okay, okay. So then, they're still learning from it, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I took note of that because when I think back to when I was so hypercritical, when I started being so hypercritical of myself, it was when I noticed other people talking about themselves. And then I would look at me and be like, wait, am I that? You know? What's one of the services that you provide that you think everyone should try at least one time?
Ooh, I really like everything. And I think that's what one thing I like about Augment is because we put it together in a way that you actually feel something when you're done. It's not like just guess, like when should I do this and for how long, that type of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you start here, you do this, like a circuit type of thing. But the one thing that I do consistently and I definitely believe in is red light.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that you brought that up because I know about red light therapy. Those they're like sectioned little
Like panels.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then you put them on your legs or your bum or your tummy, right? So what is that actually doing?
So basically there's two wavelengths, at least in the red light that we have at Augment. So there's two wavelengths. One is for your skin. So like collagen, acne, scars, anything skin related. And then the second wavelength penetrates more deeply. So it goes past that surface level of your skin. And that's where you're getting like the inflammation, like release of the inflammation and joint pain and those kind of things.
Yeah.
And more deeper healing at the cellular level.
Yeah.
So yeah, those two things you're getting both.
Why is contrast therapy so good for the body?
Oh my gosh. So the reason being is, there's so many benefits to each one individually, but doing them together, number one, is easier because it's easier to get in a cold plunge when your body's nice and hot. Honestly, I'm like ready,
Yeah.
But you're creating a pumping mechanism in your body because your blood vessels are expanding and restricting, right? And so you're burning a ton of calories as your body is heating up and cooling down. So there's that, but you're flushing out inflammation, which is the root of like everything, right? So you're flushing out inflammation. The sauna has, like some cardiovascular benefits where it's like simulating some like low intensity exercise, right?
Yeah.
But then those two things together, like when you are in the cold plunge, you also are like building your brown fat. That helps get rid of your bad fat. So you have like the metabolic effects. But then again, like mental health, like you have more like mental clarity, you're raising your endorphins. So it's just overall it's good.
Yeah.
It's just good for you.
Is there because some people do it in the morning or in the evening, is there a one that you prefer or think that's more beneficial?
So I personally have never been able to do it in the morning because I open. And so that I haven't had to do, but I do like read about it.
Yeah.
So it says like it's like having several coffees like in the morning.
The
It's
cold
like
plunge.
yeah,
That's what I
because
hear too.
because it's giving you all that energy. So it based on what your goal is when you should do it. So like if you're wanting energy, then you do it in the morning,
Okay.
There's also, like different times like within like when you've exercised, like ideally you don't do it right after you exercise.
Yeah.
And so there's like different
ideally not after you exercise?
Not right after because it does like it can interfere with like muscle growth.
Okay,
if you do it right after. But like, so many hours later, yes, because then it helps with them. Something I never heard until I opened Augment was you can't perform at your highest level if you're not recovering. And I always thought, oh, well, you're exercising, you're going to be sore every single day of your life. Like that's just part of it. And that is really not it. And so, yeah, in order for you to like meet your goals in the gym, you have to take time to recover.
I do not do a good job at recovery. I'm so hard on myself in that aspect. So I need to be better. But that's why it's good that we're having this conversation.
Yes.
This is a selfish podcast for me because I'm very curious. The hyperbaric what is it called?
It's a hyperbaric chamber.
Yes. Yeah. Talk to me about that. I've never heard of it.
Oh yeah. So that is something that I feel is gaining awareness, right? It's a lot of people will like relate it to like scuba diving because there's something about like the bends or something like where you use that afterwards. But basically what a hyperbaric chamber is it's oxygen in a pressurized environment. So you sit in, ours is a soft chamber. You sit in there in a recliner and it just oxygen fills that. And you also have like a nasal cannula. So you're getting oxygen directly. But what it's doing is it's forcing oxygen in your cells. So it's oxygenating your cells. And then that is like helping with inflammation. It's replacing bad cells with new cells. And so That part has been amazing because that's where I really see people that are injured healing fast.
Yeah.
And it's been great. I've been getting to serve a lot of student athletes
That's awesome.
who either have surgeries and they are like, I want to wrestle my senior year. You know what I mean? And so they're coming in and they're like weeks ahead.
And then brain tapping
Mm-hmm.
is something else that you provide as a service. When I started looking into it, I was researching and I was reading about the frequencies and binaural beats and then the red light and was it blue light? I think there's also. So what does that do for someone's emotional health?
So basically it was developed by a neuroscientist, and what it's doing is connecting the left and the right side of your brain with like the sounds, the lights, the sounds. Because it has like you have a visor on, so it has a lights. You even though you have your eyes closed, its lights are there, but it is connecting those two sides of your brain, and it really just calms your mind. I see so many people like literally asleep with their mouths wide open. It's just like hypnotic.
Really?
I know it's like crazy. Not everybody. It's not for everybody, but a lot of people will just be like out. And so it's really like hitting their subconscious. And there's like tons of like different things you can listen to. It's kind of like a guided meditation from,
Okay, that's awesome.
anything from like, like it could be just like life mastery or whatever. But yeah, it's
You said when you go into Augment, everything is
mhm.
like a rotation kind of?
Kind of, yeah,
So
yeah.
what is that
Yeah, we usually
rotation?
recommend that when people get in, is we start them with compression, and compression is just like not only is it just relaxing, kind of just sets the tone, right? But it's good for inflammation. So what it's doing is compressing and releasing, and so that's getting your circulation going, your blood flowing, and it's just like lactic acid, which is what we have when we work in the gym that makes us our muscles sore. It kind of flushes that out, flushes that inflammation. It's good for like lymphatic drainage. But your circulation is going. So we have people start there and they can do legs, arms, or hips. And they usually do the brain tap at that time because you're just sitting there, right? So then the brain tap is something they do. And then from there, we have them go and do contrast therapy just because your circulation is going. So now you're in better condition to like
Your body's
detox.
warm too, the
Yeah.
oxygen's flowing. Yeah, okay.
So then you detox and then,
Can we talk more about, because you told me this before we started the podcast, about your mental health journey and how that has kind of seeped into Augment Wellness?
Yeah, so well I feel like I'm just kind of like an anxious person as it is, right? And kind of like an overcritical person of myself, not of others at all, but of myself. And so yeah, I see it as a way like to help just like de-stress, like help with like that anxiety. I used to be somebody who would overreact a lot, and now I feel like everything just kind of like runs off of me. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. Like people sometimes say like, oh, you must be so stressed, and I'm like, not really. I mean, there are things that I wish were better, right? But I don't feel that type of like sleep good at night regardless of what's happening. Like I still sleep good at night. And so I can definitely be a testament because before that I felt like I struggled with, there'd be nights when I would like be awake all night long. You know what I mean? And just anxious and that kind of stuff. And
Do you feel like because of the anxiety that you've experienced and kind of being hypercritical of yourself, you empathize with people more?
I definitely do. I think that's why I was probably good as an administrator and a teacher because I could empathize with what our kids were going through. I had some things that happened when I was like growing up, and so I just felt like I had a passion for the kids. And I wish I'm like, oh, I wish I could partner with the school and they could do brain tap because like that would be great for the kids. But yeah, just being able to know that like me as an assistant principal, I dealt with all the discipline. So, like a big part of that was, kids that were not always like at their optimum. They were not performing well for different reasons, and behavior. And so, yeah, it was just like, um, I felt like I could relate to them, and I always wanted to get to the root of like what's going on. So I've always been kind of really interested and invested in mental health. Like, why are people acting the way they are? Why is he behaving like that? It's not that he chooses to be naughty. Like, he's getting attention the way that he only knows how, or she, or whatever, So I've always been interested in that. And then, now I'm like, okay, now there's a way to actually, there are multiple ways, but this is one way that you can actually work on that. And
Do you feel like when you would chat with these students that would they open up a little bit to you?
I definitely had great relationships with my kiddos. I mean, and probably the more challenging they were, the more closer they were to my heart. In reality, 100%. Yeah,
because there's more to the behind the scenes of things that that
and they didn't always treat me good or speak to me. I didn't see them at their best moments all the time, but I was consistent with them, and so in a compassionate way. And I know that there was a lot of opinions out there that kids need more like heavy-handed discipline, or they need to be out of schools and that kind of stuff. And that was absolutely the opposite of my own. Like, this is the best place for them. So what can we do during this time to really develop a relationship, help them build the skills they need,
and pour into them in the
absolutely.
ways that they need to be poured into, that they might not be getting poured into at home.
Absolutely.
So
in full circle now, I mean, I've just realized recently, like, I've kind of built a connection with some of the athletes here in town, or people that are leading that. And so I've had a lot of students come in. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I get, because I miss the kids, right? So I get to see, kids, and I get to help them in a different, like, you know what I mean? And it's so awesome. And I get to see them healing. The people that I have relationships now are usually people that I've got to know through coming to Augment. And that's been amazing. Like, those relationships have been great, because they are the ones, they use it, so they know, so then they can speak, what I mean?
Like a referral kind of thing.
Yeah. So
how do you communicate to people who don't know about red light therapy and about compression therapy, all the things? How do you kind of introduce them to that world without seeming too woo-woo, or
I know. I am a little woo-woo too.
But me too. That's why, like, I research, I read all the things.
No, so do I.
And like frequencies, I'll put on love hurts frequencies.
Yes. No, so do I.
So how do you, because I try to, inform people that I love and educate them on, just listen to beta frequencies, help me focus, and they come at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, I swear, it's backed up by science. Like,
Try it, yes.
Yeah. Is there a way that you've learned to communicate?
I guess for me, like, I am not going to go up to a stranger and try to, or even family members or friends, I don't push any of that on them. So that part is, I've just, whatever.
Like, if they're curious, they'll ask.
Yeah.
Are you Christian? I heard you bring up, God earlier.
I feel like I have a deep feeling of being led and trusting that things are always working out in my favor, right? Like, I believe that 100%, and I am always grateful, and I pray about those things every single day.
Yeah.
I do also believe, like, everything is for you, right? And so, I mean, just like being at Augment, like, I literally did it for it was not like I didn't have a passion, like, I don't have a passion. I didn't like go, oh my God, I can't wait to help heal people. That was not my thing, right?
It was for you.
Yeah, it was literally for me, I was just thinking selfishly of how, and then I was like, oh, and this will be like a legacy for my kids, and whatever. I thought of all those things. My son also has like a traumatic brain injury, so I was like, he needs the chamber. So like, I got the chamber for him, So like, I was always thinking of those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, now I feel like, oh wait, God knows my love, my heart for giving, and now I'm just giving in a different way, and I'm able to give back in other ways too. So like, not only just like when people come in and we are able to help them feel better, but now I have a platform for, I love dogs. So like, I've been doing things with the Humane Society, with kids. Like, I did something like we got together stuff for kids in need. Like, so I have like a way to, it's not in the school system anymore, but I can do it through my business. Like, to give back.
Yeah. Well, because I was curious because I'm Christian as well, and I think that my purpose here on earth is to serve. And when I think about Augment Wellness,
We're doing a podcast.
oh my gosh, wait, I was so, yes. Wait, I was so confused.
You should totally go to Augment because it's so awesome.
I will. How do you know her?
She's a friend of mine.
Oh, that's hilarious. What services do you think runners would benefit the most from?
Well, everything, because honestly, everything is for recovery. So, I mean, because most of these things were things that they have them in colleges. I mean, they have them. I mean, most people that are athletes that are coming in, like they were college athletes, high school athletes, are, yep, I've done this before. So everything works together in kind of in sync, because most colleges have compression therapy. I mean, most like elite athletes anywhere, professional athletes, they have hyperbaric chambers in their houses. They use them. So yeah, everything is great.
Yeah.
It's just like, finding the time, which I mean, you hear people all the time, like they don't have the time, and
But you make the time.
You make the time. I like in my mind, I always play this one little meme that said, oh, you don't have time, we'll check your screen time.
Oh, yeah.
And I think about that too. I'm like, you do have time.
Everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. You make the time. For the things that you really want, you will prioritize. So
yeah. But yeah, for runners and specifically, I mean, everything works together. I mean, we don't like say, oh, when you come in, you have to do this and you have to do this and you have to do this for this amount of time. We show them how, and the first time they do it the way, because it's like a tour, they're doing it the way that we suggest. Then after that, it's like their own experience, right? So if they feel like, oh, I didn't feel like compression really helped me last time, I just want to go straight to the sauna, then do that,
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
I could see weightlifters benefiting a lot from compression therapy because of the lactic acid that gets released.
Yeah. Oh, and it just feels so good.
I know, yeah. You guys have the Normatec, right?
Yeah.
I want to try the hip one. I've never done the hips,
feels
just
so
the
good.
legs.
Feels so good.
They say that you store a lot of emotions and stuff. Here comes out my woo side, emotions in your hips.
I didn't know that. You taught me something right there. I'm like, I didn't even know that, but I do like doing the hips.
Yeah. Maybe there's a reason.
Maybe that's why I'm so chill now. I'm like, I've just been doing the compression.
All the therapy that you didn't know you were doing. What is something right now that you're currently rewriting in your life?
I think it is like rewriting. I think now my purpose. I think like shifting from like, oh, I'm doing this because I'm gonna make more money and I'm gonna have more time to myself and all of those selfish things, to like you actually have the ability to do something that you love equally, which is giving back and seeing people feel better and all that. And sometimes I'm like, oh, am I really just putting compression sleeves on people? Like, is that what my job is now? You know what I mean? Which seems like I feel like I could do more, but then I have to step back and think like, but you're helping them feel better. And maybe it seems like a job that anybody could do, but we're also building relationships. We're also like and educating them, and all of those things are just as valuable,
Well, I think when you think about Augment Wellness, it's a business around recovery and around, like you said, the holistic part of it, but it's not a quick fix. And I think a lot of people nowadays want quick fixes.
Absolutely.
So to be able to run a business that is about recovery and having patience, wait to see the results, says a lot. Because when I think about, I don't know, just, these times, it's all quick fixes.
And that's why it's a kind of a hard sell.
That's why it's hard, yeah.
It's a kind of hard sell, because people are like, well, I want to see how I feel tomorrow. And I'm like, well, if you went to the gym, would you see a difference in your body tomorrow? Like,
it's consistency.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's
showing up for
hard,
yourself.
really hard to sell people on, because I think they'd rather, go have that quick fix, like go have that donut that makes them feel good immediately, but they don't want to put the time into the longevity of how they could actually really help themselves.
Yeah. Or like, I know a lot of people do benefit from GLP-1s, and like a lot of people really do need that, but the people that don't need that take advantage of that, it's because it's a quick fix. But it's not fixing the root of the problem. And it's more of a lifestyle change, not a phase,
But I think that I really do think, I say this all the time, I think it has everything to do with technology, because if I wanted to go on a date tonight,
You could.
I could do it immediately. I could make that happen in 10 minutes,
Yeah.
right? I mean, because
Probably less.
Exactly. But I'm just saying, you can
Yeah.
do everything is at your fingertips.
Yeah.
So that's what they want. They want that like instant. People will come and they're like, oh my God, I love it. But
Yeah.
then they just can't fit it in. They can't figure out how to fit it into their routine.
In their schedule, yeah. Which is fair, but also you prioritize what you
Value.
exactly.
Whether it's scrolling or, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? But you can actually scroll while you're at Augment.
Yeah.
So you can two
It's
for
called
one.
habit stacking.
Exactly. There you go. That's it.
Yeah. I go on walks and I read, or I go on walks and
Yeah. Like 2 for.
Yeah. I was reading a physical book while I was on a walk right by the river.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
And there was this couple, and the man told me, he said, that must be a really good book. It is. Like, but I'm looking up, I'm making sure I'm not running into people. What's one of the most powerful, or just a testimony from one of your members that have stuck out to you? Do you have any?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I had I've had a couple, you know, but I think of this old lady who just came in, older lady. She had had a stroke.
Yeah.
And the first time she came in, her husband forced her to come in. She was in a wheelchair. She was not talking, and she seemed extremely angry that she was there, to be honest. And
She didn't
was
want to be
doing
there.
like this to her husband,
like
like,
saying that he was crazy.
crazy for making her do that.
Yeah.
And he had researched it. He, in his mind, he was like, he wanted his wife to be better, and she wasn't able to walk or talk or everything, you know. And they'd been together for some like ridiculous, like 58 years or something like that. And so we put her in the chamber, which was a little challenge because she couldn't move really. But she's come consistently, and she is able to talk. She's starting to be able to move on her one side that her stroke affected. Her personality is like completely different. Like she actually wants to come in and do
That's
it now. Like she sees the
awesome.
benefits. And so that's been like amazing. But I've had like 2 other people that have lost like 25 pounds because they had so much inflammation in their body.
Yeah.
And just doing that consistently helped get that out. And
Yeah.
it wasn't like they came for weight loss, but because of the inflammation in their
It's a
body, like
byproduct.
investing in yourself, whether it is listening to podcasts or whether it is, you know, taking time to, you know, scroll if that's what you need to do, right?
Yeah.
But anything you do is an investment in yourself, and I think it's worth more than some people are willing to put in. I mean, but I think if you actually take the time, you will see a difference over time. And
Yeah.
it is not immediate, right?
Yeah.
It's never going to
It's not
be
a quick
immediate.
fix.
And it's a long thing. It's a long process, but so rewarding in the end. You are like loving yourself, and showing that love to yourself is
Yeah.
really like something that I still work on.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, when you pour into yourself, you are able to end up, the outpour is for the people around you,
You
right?
can't pour from an empty cup.
Yes. So that's
Exactly.
why I always make sure my cup is full before I pour into other people. By you showing up for yourself is helping you be a better mother, a better business owner, better friend. Yeah, all the things. Where can everyone find you?
So Augment is here in Kennewick. We are right off of Edison, kind of by Kamaikan High School, on the same side as Kamaikan High School. And yeah, we do tours all the time, and we'd love to share and educate everybody on how they can
Beautiful.
feel better.
Yeah, amazing.
Yay,
Okay,
thank you.
Yes.